Kaizer Kganyago. He is the spokesperson for the SIU. Mr. Kganyago, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good afternoon, Desiree, and good afternoon to your listeners and viewers.
Although some of these numbers have been put out before, one just never gets used to them. How does this announcement by the presidency take this process forward?
The announcement takes the process forward in a sense that we have now reached a stage where we have finalized the investigation as we had agreed with the president to say that the matters that were before us, we need to finalize them and give him a report by the 10th of December. And this is what we have given to him. And he has now looked into the report and he feels that the public must know what is in that report. But also he is saying in the statement that was issued today that the matters that needs to be prosecuted and that needs to happen as quickly as possible. And the other matters that we had dealt with, which are in relation to disciplinary and executive action, we would have done by now. And some of them have already yielded results, as you might know. There's, for example, in Gauteng, the disciplinary hearing of the former SEM person was done and the person was fired. But also, money that needs to be recovered has to be recovered. We've indicated here that we've already recovered money in the bank of 34 million, and then we have prevented a potential loss of 114 million. And we have got contracts that are set aside as about 170 million rand, and value of potential money that needs to be recovered is 551 million. All of those things are in the pot, and some of them will continue in our courts to make sure that they are finalized and we recover the money.
I'm looking here, there's different aspects to it. Top departments under investigation. There's the Department of Education, of Health, the City of Joburg, Tshwane Metropolitan Municipality, Johannesburg Property Company, Johannesburg Social Housing Company, the South African Police Services. There's also what kind of detail is available for the public in terms of the actual amounts in the different areas of investigation?
Yes, if they go into our report, they will see, because the report goes into detail on each and every one. From where you are reading, you will see that the bulk of the investigation is happening in the Department of Education, and it goes down like that, Department of Health, and most of them are what was happening in Gauteng. You will see, for example, that in Gauteng alone, out of the total of 14.3 billion rand that we're investigating, 6 billion rand comes from Gauteng alone. Therefore, most of those investigations are there. Therefore, you will see in the report, because it details each and every transaction, what happened, who was involved, which companies were involved, and the monies that are associated to each and every one of them. And that is what you're going to find in the report.
There's also a country map which details the provinces. And I just want to go through the amounts. In Limpopo, 473 million under investigation. In Mpumalanga, 730 million. In Gauteng, 6.3 billion. Is it billion? Yeah. And in the Northwest Province, 193 million. The Northern Cape, 179 million. The Free State, 244 million. KwaZulu-Natal, 1.108 billion. These are staggering amounts. Let me just look at the Eastern Cape amount, 2.982 billion. How do you separate the provincial as opposed to the government departments' investigations?
Yes, if you look at that map that you are looking at, Desiree, you will see at the outside of that map, somewhere like where Madagascar would be
it shows you national.
There is one that deals with national departments.
Yeah, I can see.
And these are national departments only. And then the ones that are in the map are those that are departments that are within a specific province. And that is how the separation was done. Therefore, national departments alone accounts to about 2.1 billion rand. That is national departments.
So having this publicized, does it then say that the law enforcement agencies can then start doing their work?
No, definitely. As we are speaking to you, Desiree, we have made referrals to all departments for disciplinary action. We already know that executive action was done in Gauteng and in Eastern Cape with MECs having been relieved of their duties. We have referred 386 matters to the NPA, and we expect them to now take the matter forward, as the president's last sentence in the speech, in the statement says. And then we have also done administrative action, which is where we say to departments, these companies needs to be blacklisted, and to that effect, we've done up 330 administrative actions, and we expect all of those things to be implemented. We will continue as the SIU to monitor the implementation of all of those. With the NPA, for example, we know as we speak now that they've already allocated prosecutors to those matters that we have referred to them. We are working with them to make sure that we give them all the support that they would need and make sure that those prosecutions are done as expeditiously as possible.
Mr. Kganyago, just give us a sense, just in terms of the individuals implicated, how easy or difficult was this process? Was there any pushback?
No, obviously there was pushback. There's been a lot of people who do not want to be found. We had examples of people who are even sending us threatening messages and all of those things to try and avoid this. There's been pushback in relation to matters where we take matters to the special tribunal and we freeze their bank accounts. There will be people who will be going out there and make sure that they try and reverse that. You might have seen the example that happened just now, where we had this matter of the Anglo Ashanti hospital, where we freezed the two companies' bank accounts, and they went to the tribunal trying to reverse that. We even had people who were starting to be personal about some of the individuals that we have and try to discredit our reputation. And we've seen all of those things, but we pushed ahead. Our investigators were diligent. We made sure that we come up with the outcome, and we delivered the report as we had agreed with the president.
So as things stand, how far is the SIU process in terms of getting to a point of completion for you? Because there are still a few investigations outstanding.
Yes, what has happened there is we had an agreement with the president with the investigations that were before us at the time to say we will deliver the final report on the 10th of December. And then when that time was arriving, people started bringing new matters to us. And we then said to the presidency, we will abide by the agreement we had to give you the final report on the basis of those matters that were before us at that time. And then these new ones that have come up, we cannot ignore them because they are very important to us. We then agreed with the presidency that we will then do a supplementary report that we will submit to the president by the end of June, as you can see in the president's statement. Therefore, those are the matters that came when we were almost at the end of the investigation as agreed. But we respected the agreement we had with the president to give that report on the specific day. Therefore, those remaining ones, we will do them in the next 6 months and deliver the supplementary report to the president.
What's the significance of this stage that has come out of the presidency?
I think the significance of it is that the presidency has shown to the public of South Africa that they do not tolerate corruption the same way as we don't tolerate corruption as the SIU. And to make this public is a clear indication to say we are not going to hide the people that were found wanting in relation to matters that are before us. And we have put it out there for the public to read for themselves, and so that the public can understand the kind of work that we have done and work with us going forward to make sure that we get rid of corruption in the state institutions.
Yes, thank you for talking to us. There's clearly a lot to talk about. It's a very information-heavy media statement, but we're going to end it there. Thank you so much for giving us the time. Kaizer Kganyago talking to us about President Cyril Ramaphosa authorizing the release to the public of the final report of the investigation by the SIU into procurement by all government spheres.